Today, I'm very honored, very excited to be talking to Chetna Sinha. And the more I have got to know her and read about her work, I can say all of us in this country, when we talk about women, I think we all have to talk about her and the work that she's done. The kind of transformation that she's brought about in this country, in a region, is something, it's a benchmark where we all need to celebrate, we all need to salute what she's doing. And let me read quickly about her and what she's set up. So, set up in 1997, Chetna started the Man Deshi Sahkari Bank, is India's first bank for and by rural women. It aims to empower women by helping them become financially independent. At present, it has 2 lakh account holders across 8 branches with working capital of 111 crores. To date, it has loaned over rupees 500 crores. Outstanding. This is brilliant. The bank has won several awards, including Nadi Shakti Award for supporting women's entrepreneurship, the Best Ecotech Award, and the Best Women's Bank Award. Chetna Sinha, along with 6 other women, chaired the 48th annual meeting of the World Economic Forum in Davos, Klosters, Switzerland, on 23rd and 26th January 2018. Chetna, thank you so much for joining to have this conversation. To begin with, I would like to understand, when you started the bank in 1997, what was your inspiration? What was your dream? What were you chasing?
First of all, I never thought that I'll start a bank. And born and raised in Mumbai, was teaching economics in Mumbai. I'm married to my husband Vijay. I was Chetna Gala, or I am Chetna Gala, and Vijay Sinha. So both of us were working with farmers, and he was not like highly educated or something, but we were together in the farmers movement. He is farmer. And fell in love and decided that, I want to work in rural India. And also that decision was not taken like because of the love with Vijay or something, but because when I was doing my graduation and post-graduation in university, a Gandhian leader, Jayaprakash Narayan, had come and he was appealing youth to work in villages of India. And I actually got very passionate about it. And I started, and he was already a part of that movement. So that's how we met. And then while moving in rural India, in villages, I decided sort of, that I do not want to continue in Mumbai. I'm done with Mumbai. And decided to marry him and shift to his village in Maswad in Satara district in Man Taluka. This is the name, right? Mandeshi Bank. So that's how I ended up being here in Maswad in Man Taluka. And even then, I was working with women, working on water issues, because in villages you have hundreds of things, right? People didn't have an electricity connection, you go for that. There are various things, employment and all those issues. But it was very interesting that women used to come with very we have these problems, but also they would come and say that many of the men would migrate and women would say, we are managing the house and we are managing the finances also. And we want to open a saving account. And one woman was very insistent about it, Kantabai. Like, she was a street vendor. She was making money by sharpening the weeders. So she was doing a business of blacksmith. And then she said, I want to save. And she was like, I want to open an account, a saving account, and I want to save because I want to buy a tarpaulin sheet before summer, because in our area in summer it's 45 degrees Celsius. So and then I said, but do you have a money to save? Because you have this notion that this lady does not even have a house. She's staying on the street. And so how is she talking about saving account and savings? So she said, she was insistent that I'm saving because I want to buy, I need a shelter for my family, and that's why I want to buy a tarpaulin sheet. So I felt she's not asking for any grants, she's not asking for any subsidy. What she's asking is a safe place to save her money, safe and secure place for that. And that is a fundamental right. So I just went with her to different banks, and at that time we had three banks. One was a nationalized bank though. But then bank manager said that she wants to save 3 rupees, 5 rupees a day, and she's not an affordable client for us. So I felt, but like, she has a right, and because of my movement background, I felt if banks are not opening the account for women like Kanta by your street vendors, why don't we start a bank for those women? And I was not, I had no idea what am I getting into. But I just went directly to Reserve Bank of India, and I just said that, we are applying for the banking license. And at that time, this window was open for the Women's Cooperative Bank. For some of the reports were there with the Reserve Bank that if you want to do financial inclusion, particularly among women and youth, Women's Bank should be started. So incidentally or fortunately, at that time, that window was open, and they said you can apply for under that window, which was under cooperative bank as a member cooperative. So then I went back, I told women that we can apply, and then we started, moving around and mobilizing women, and they were very excited because all the member capital, mobilizing the member capital and all that. And then we submitted the license to Reserve Bank of India. Many of our women were non-literate. And this, Pragya, this story I must have shared like 1,000 times. It's not that first time I'm saying here. But still, every time I say, I myself get like really motivated because these women in 1997, they didn't even knew how to read and write, but they were so firm. And so when we submitted the application, Reserve Bank rejected the license, saying that we cannot issue a license to the bank whose promoting member are non-literate. Which I was like, yeah, they cannot read and write, because they had a thumb on the application form. Wherever their details were there, instead of signature, they had a thumb. So on that ground, they rejected the license. I came back to Muswat. I told our women that we couldn't get the license because our women could not read and write. And I was very much devastated and upset. In fact, I was literally crying. And they just told me, like, stop crying. We don't know to read and write. We will learn to read and write. What a big deal. And I
Wow.
was like, okay, wow, right? And then my colleague Ruxana and myself, we went to the villages, from one village to another village on two-wheeler. At that time we used to go, and then literacy classes would start in those villages, and that went on for 5-6 months, and then we applied again. At that time didn't have, I was not that confident actually. And so I told women, why don't you also come with me to Reserve Bank? So 17 women accompanied me, and we applied for the banking license. We went there. We went to the director of officer, and I had no idea that women are what they going to talk, but I could see the confidence in them. And so our women said that we rejected the license because we cannot read and write. But they said we cannot read and write, but we can count. So my first lesson was that, people cannot read and write, but they can count. We shouldn't underestimate that. And then they said that when we were growing, schools were not there. So we are not responsible for our non-literacy.
Yeah.
I felt they were very, very true. It was very true. And then they said that when they said that we cannot count, they told the officer that, why don't you do this? Tell us to calculate the interest of any principal amount. If we fail, don't issue the license. But tell your officers to do it without calculator and see who can calculate faster. I mean, that actually started the whole debate, and the director of RBI, Mr. Parma, he's no more though. We did have we were in touch with him till now. And then that dialogue went on that why bank is important for them. And they were saying like, we are not asking for anything. We are not asking. We want to put our own money to save, and we want to manage our finance, right? And that's why we are asking for the bank. And with this, actually, uh, after 5 months, a license came by post. And when we got the letter from RBI, and then and at that time, there were there were trunk calls. So I got a trunk call from RBI where you have a like particular person, because they book with a particular person, right? And they said this is the first license we have posted uh,
Wow.
to the village. And so it was very, I mean, so that's how the Mandeshi Mahila Bank started. And from the beginning, it was so interesting to see, like, when we got the license and then we were figuring out about the setting up the bank, inauguration, all those things. And women were actually savings daily. Like, on the day of inauguration, we should have a sound amount. We were talking of that. We should have a main place in a mainstream market. We should have a two doors so that some women who want to come from the back door, they can also come. There was so much of planning going on in their mind that about planning of their finance, how they want to have a not only just access on finance but control on finance also, right? They were talking about two entries and all that. And the one thing they said was that from very first day that we'll have a bank, but people should not think that we are the rural women, as RBI also rejected because we cannot read and write, but our bank should be updated. And they said very first day we will have computers. And I
Wow.
was laughing at them. I was like, not laughing at myself also, that we don't know how to manage these, but they were like, no, no, no. And it was very interesting. I was also getting motivated about the aspiration.
Yes.
Like, there was nothing in their mind which told them that you cannot do this,
Yeah.
right? They were so clear, like they cannot read and write, but yeah, they can count. We want bank. We will have a computerized bank. So the very first day, that whole mindset of aspiration was so strong, which kept me motivated about this bank. And now it's now nearly 22 years. And as you mentioned, actually we have our working capital is more than 140 crores. And these figures of 500 crores are cumulative figures. It's that we have done the lending. And yeah, I mean, in Maharashtra, the bank is operating in 9 districts. And we have bank, and I mean, today we have uh, in 4 branches, we have online, I mean, ATMs, and all the branches are women do have ATM cards. They do mobile. We do have a mobile banking also. And it was interesting. How do you like? We started with actually in 2005 when everybody was having a physical passbook. Our women had a smart card. There was a chip, and that data was there on the chip. And when even like, as I said, we had no idea. But what happened was that many of our women used to keep the passbook at bank in the branch, and we used to say you have to take it home, and they would say like no, because everybody can see how much we have saved and we want to. So then we figured out what is the solution for that. And so then we thought, why not electronic passbook? But then we asked our women that it will be like electronic passbook, you will have to swipe, and they were fine with it. So even before ATM, they were using that. And with that, we had this business school for rural women, which were there for financial literacy, digital literacy, even mentoring. So we have this Deshi MBA, where women go through this whole 1 year mentorship program, and they were ready for everything. And we were the first, I would say that I was amazed when it was in 2007, I think, a lady who was sheep and goat rearer. I'll send you her photograph. She's actually, last year we lost her.
Oh, sorry.
She came for her first, her last name was Sargar and Kerabai. So she came to take a loan to buy a cell phone. And she was asking for 2 cell phones. And we were like, you are rearing sheep and goat. You don't know how to read and write. Why do you need 2 cell phones? And she said that I am rearing sheep and goat. I migrate from October to June. I come back in June, and till 5, 6 months I'm with my husband herding sheep and goats. And my kids I leave with my mother-in-law. And I want to be in touch with them. And that's why
Wow.
I want to buy 2 cell phone and I'm taking loan for that. And then she said, we don't know how to operate cell phone. So why don't you teach us? So that was the thing, like, that there's so much of uh, aspiration, confidence that I will learn. And then we started a business school. Now we have a digital school on wheels where it goes to the villages. There are micro ATMs, there are tabs where they can do mobile banking and all that. And it was like when we started this business school on wheels and all, we just saw every day our women were, I mean, they were just ready for everything. And the lessons I learned from them was that never provide poor solutions to poor people. They are very smart. They are ready for, even they are not, I mean, they never said that we cannot handle mobile. They never said that we cannot do the transaction. They never said that, I will, how do I manage to do this? It was always that readiness which motivated me.
So you not only are you giving financial access now through the bank, but you're, like you said, there is digital program, there is business education, there is this whole literacy program that you're also enabling, both for access and for literacy. How do you see the role of technology?
So, actually, if you see in rural India, I feel like I came here in 1986. And since now, it's more than 35 years. And I've been seeing, and we stay in our farm. My husband is farmer. And I've been seeing in the farm also. What were the things as far as technology is concerned which came to rural India on the farm? For the regular farmers, regular people. I'm not talking about the rich people. But what things came? Like tractors and all, it goes to the rich farmers. It doesn't come. But what were so then the screens have come, right? The first thing. It was a TV screen which came. In their business, in their farming, no, still plowing or something, but nothing. And then this, a smaller screen came, like this screen came. And it was that every time, I mean, I feel very, very, it's not that the other technology has not come because they cannot use it. They can use it. But just because our infrastructure, our license permit Raj, everything in this country is so difficult that there is no ease. And I
Yeah.
would say, like, that is the reason why technology didn't come to rural India. Why these came? Because there was no law so much. We didn't have those telcos, legal laws, right? So to get the licensing and all these about having these waves. Anyway, I'm not getting into the details. But actually, this was the first thing which came in the people's hand, and it actually empowered them. Just imagine, I told you the story of this woman who is rearing sheep and goat,
Yeah.
and he was saying that I want 2 cell phone. Now I asked another question, because you are a banker, right? And bankers unnecessarily also they end up doing policing, right? So I asked her, okay, you are taking loan for 2 cell phone. You are saying that I am going to rear sheep and goat. How are you going to charge them your cell phone, right? Because you will be moving around.
Yeah.
So that lady said that actually when you are rearing sheep and goat, farmers call you because of the manure. Because if your sheep are going to sit on the land of the farmers' land will get the manure, right?
Yeah.
The natural manure. So she said, I am giving that. I will take power from them. I will charge my phone there. And I was surprised by the way she had planned.
Yeah.
Like, so the technology or anything which comes to the village, it's not that they cannot do it. It's actually they plan, they know very well how to manage it also. And so every time, I mean, when we have digital school on wheels, and then when that bus goes and to the villages, and then when our women try to swipe the card, or when they use it, they raise 100 questions. And not only just because they don't know, but we are still struggling. We have not found the solution. Our women are saying that we do not want, of course, now with the cell phone you have it, but that we do not want PIN number, right? Because why that anybody can ask a PIN number and then can access our account, digital wallet, can access. So try to find some other solution. So then we are now piloting with the biometric. When we did that pilot, our women said that, see, anybody can snatch away my PIN number. Nobody can take away my angtha. Nobody can take away my finger. So it's all about, and when I was saying never provide poor solutions to poor people, they never think of access. It's always a control, right? So even in technology, even in digital, I see more that these are the tools which give a control of finance to our women,
Yeah.
which gives control on wealth for our women.
Yeah.
And control on wealth, why, how? That it's a very simple thing that you go and ask to any lady that, do you have a bank account? Now there are many women who have this Jandan account, right? And many of them will say Ujwala bank account. So they say, yeah, we have that account, but we have a separate account also. And then one would say that, why don't you have that Ujwala bank account? Why don't you link with the digital wallet or something? They would say, no, we want a digital account has to be our own account. Jandan is a joint account. Don't want that. So it's actually, the technology has the power, digitization has a power for two things. One, to create a wealth for me, and second, to have a control on that wealth. I will have that.
Wow.
And these people, I feel that in rural India, and particularly women, I'm not going into details, but when I talk about women in banking, I always say that people has to learn that how to create, that our women, when they do these ratios, wealth to income ratio, their wealth to income ratio is much higher than what mainstream banking will do. Like if I'm earning 1,000 rupees, and how much do I make? But you go to the rural India and you see that, how much wealth they create, like having cows, having gold, having food grains which they procure and keep it. And it is all, they have these, they keep on calculating this assets.
Yeah.
So I do feel that, a lot of women are using apps, and we are working with Priyanka also. The way they come up with this, they actually, I feel that it's not that digitalization is empowering them. I feel this is a tool which is getting empowered because of these rural women.
Amazing.
Because the way they think, it's like one would never think that, can you imagine that two cell phone, shepherd community, somewhere in middle of the road in 2007, she decided to talk to her children. Now
Yeah.
that was actually empowering the cell phone technology also. No? So I feel that that is the power. If poor people use the technology, they empower the technology, because they will find out the ways which actually the people, those who have created the technology, also would not imagine, right? So that power they bring in.
Now that you're talking, I just wanted to understand, do you see WhatsApp, usage of WhatsApp among people, among women?
So let me tell you one thing, that the one thing is that how women will be using WhatsApp, right? Which will have to have an Android phone, number one,
Yeah.
and activity number two. Things has to have, right? And generally, wherever these two things are there, you will see women are using WhatsApp. Because it's nothing. It's not that. If I have an Android phone and if I have a connectivity, apart from if I open my cell phone, what will I see? Number one is that list of the people whom I contact, and then their WhatsApp contact, right? That is another. You will be surprised to see that how even within our women, when they come to the bank, or these women, we have these groups also, how I think last week only Priyanka and had this WhatsApp business app and all those things. They have already started marketing their product, and they've already started talking about and sharing about the product, which is like, and it's not about just sharing or marketing your product, right? It's more about sharing the courage with each other.
Yes. Yes.
It's more about that. And I'm
Yes.
so proud, and I share my courage with you. And collectively, we are doing, achieving something. I,
Yes.
I do think that, tools like WhatsApp have is that. I
Yes.
feel it's not like, I will have my products and I keep for sale. It's like collectively I do something. And when I do collectively, there is a lot of power in it. There's a lot of courage in it, and that actually gives me inspire me for the bigger future.
If you had to say now from here on, and you've been doing this for years and years and years, but from now on, if you had to say from today, if this had to accelerate the impact and the reach, what are some of the things that would be required to just grow it 100x?
People do underestimate these huge population in rural India, and they do think that will they be able to do it? And every time, they have proved other people wrong in
Yeah.
everything, right? It's not only Mandeshi Bank or something, but otherwise also the simple thing that I will just give you another example, that when this lockdown happened, uh, one of our lady had a order of school uniforms, and she got a phone call that we are cancelling the order because now it is a lockdown, and now how are you going to actually, we don't want uniforms.
Hmm.
And she was shocked, what should I do now, Savita? And then she decided, okay, she has a machinery, she has a setup of producing the school uniform. So she immediately started making masks, and then with thousands of masks in the lockdown, she came to the on the street and started selling the mask on the street, and people bought from her. Police also didn't stop her. And then she started, and then she gave her phone number, and then she started getting the order in thousands, which she was not being able to make it. And you'll be surprised that she actually created not only just the group, but she created the group. She all other women, she trained them. She sent the virtual video of how to make a quality mask on the WhatsApp, and women saw that video. They made those masks, and not only that, but now every day there are around, on her group there are around more than 125 women, and these women are making more than 10,000 of masks daily. See the
Wow.
power in it, right? So I do feel that one just doesn't know, like creating the virtual video, using the shared economy, and there is no infrastructure for 1,000 masks. There is no big factory. There is nothing like big machinery. All these women have been able to take a loan online also immediately because they wanted to buy a machine to cut the cloth and everything, and they have been producing it, and it's everything was shared collectively, and getting the order and everything. So I very clearly see that how, mm, at a different place, you are on the different location, you come together on these, and then when you come together from different location, you spread these things, so that
Yes.
whole web is created, right? And with this, you don't require, it's a simple, if you talk about manufacturing, today they have manufactured more than 400,000 masks. Now if you say that if you want to do, हमारे दिमाग में ये आएगा ना कि कितना बड़ा फैक्ट्री होगी, क्या होगा, ये कुछ नहीं है. Everything has happened on this.
Yes.
Everything. That is the power I feel, and so it's like, they are actually remodeling India.
Yeah.
right? They are. So Bharat is actually remaking India.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that Bharat will take over India.
Tell me, what has your journey meant? If you have to say that, what, how do you feel about the journey that you've made? And if you had to tell people who shy away from, thinking about rural India, thinking about making the journey, it's difficult to think of doing what you're doing, what would you say?
So, actually, I mean, if I would have stayed in Mumbai, what would I have done, right? I would have, like, yeah, got the job. Maybe with hard work, you go to some level, you are whatever, you fat salary, whatever, and be Mumbai. I mean, I'm just saying now, what is Mumbai now? And but apart from that, for the younger people, I would like to say particularly that it's so interesting that when I came to Muswat, set up the bank, the business school, we have radio, all this is operated by people here, Mumbai people, Mumbai to Delhi, or MBAs are not operating it. It is regular people here, they are
Wow.
operating.
Wow.
There are no MBAs who are actually making our balance sheets. No, and I do feel that it's very interesting that all these financial statement, balance sheets, and everything. While working with women, we have seen that these are the papers actually who has a life behind the numbers, and these lives are very, very important behind these numbers. These numbers may not have 7 8 zeros, which you will have it in Mumbai.
Yeah.
These numbers will have less zeros, but the effect of life is much more on our balance sheets, right?
Yes.
So in that sense, I would tell young generation, and I would just share that when we have this lady, we have like Kerabai Sargar, who is actually a radio jockey, and she just makes like sings, and she actually is doing her farming, and she comes to Mumbai in a Mahotsav. She's come with and grind the hen pound dal in Mumbai and come sell it in Mumbai Mahotsav. She's a farmer, but she sings also. And in this year in January she came, and I was just thinking that in this whole digital world, you have AI, artificial intelligence, and this Kerabai is a radio jockey. And when she has made a poem, and she says that in this world, uh, her poetry says that this is a universe. Here, sparrow comes and says that I am the host in this universe. Trees come and they say that we are host to this earth. Everybody comes. Human comes and they say that we are the owner of the earth. Only humans see that way. Everybody knows that we are host. Hirabai says that. And she also does this. She says while singing and on a hand grinder, and she does the hand pound dal. And so when she was doing that in Mumbai, I just felt that, in this whole digital world, all those things, in morning, I get these advertisements, which AIs have developed, right? What do I see? Based on that, those advertisements would pop up, right? And I just laugh at myself because I feel that I am in a very interesting world where AI knows that, okay, what I want to read, right? And they bring it on the screen. But here I have Kerabai, which has a ancient intelligence.
Yeah.
He comes with these wise poems and wise thought. And I just feel that it's very interesting time that if these two, artificial intelligence and the ancient intelligence and ancient wisdom, if our artificial intelligence can listen to that wisdom, maybe we'll have a different world.
Wow.
I would just say that, and I would just say that it's a very different courage this artificial intelligence comes in. So, what our women say? They say that our courage is the capital.